Let's go. What's up, everybody? How's everyone going? How's everyone doing today? Let's go. There is some amazing news coming out. Like, I'm kind of blown away what's happening right now. We might actually have a president who cares about us. Like, what's happening? It has been a while, my guys. Got a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm going to try to start streaming here. My wife, so she got a new job. She's starting to do Amazon work in the morning, so now I'm watching baby, but I got some things now situated, so I'm going to start streaming more each week here going forward. So we're going to be back, guys. We're going to be back. We're all set up now with baby boy, so... But we have a lot to go over. We're going to go over the economy today. A lot of shit. A lot of stuff's changing. A lot of stuff's changing. Trump, I've never said I support a president until they do these 4 moves. And guess what he's doing? All 4 moves. And he announced them all within 3 days. And if he actually does all these, damn, he might actually care about the middle class way more than a lot of people think. So, again, we got a lot going on. So we got enough people in here. How's everyone doing? I'll thank her, man. It's a good job, man. Amazon's a really good place to work if you get in there. So, but let's start going out here quick. I only got like an hour and 20 minutes. AMC is going to have their earnings call here. That is going to be on February 25th. So, got about two and a half weeks here. I don't think we're going to be profitable, which is why we did that raise. But I'm still very interested to see the numbers, see what's all going on behind the scenes, see if they close more leases, see what they've done with cash burn, see if they have any more announcements coming forward. But again, right now for AMC, one of the things that they did send out today for the emails is A-List. They've upped the price on A-List, but the thing is you're now able to see 4 movies a week. So it's $25 and you can go see 16 movies a month. Guys, I know you've heard Jack and all these other people. Go get A-listed. It's immediate. It's huge for the company. You should all go get A-listed. It saves you guys a ton of money on tickets. You can spend it on concessions where they actually make most of the revenue instead of paying with these stupid ass production studios that fucked everyone over with these strikes. Well, one of the ways you can get them back is you can go ahead and A-list. Less money for them with ticket-wise, but again, it's still more money for AMC because people will still go there and they're going to go ahead and buy merchandise. They're going to go ahead and get concessions, and that's where AMC actually makes their most money. They just need to get them in the door. So, again, go get A-listed, go get A-listed, go get A-listed. But let's get into a lot of stuff here. Again, with the economy, downturning the way it is, things getting actually harder and harder. Well, Disney Plus lost 700,000 subscribers in Q1 2025. Again, streaming services are going to have harder and harder time keeping people. So everybody that thought that they were going to kill the movies off, like I said, this A-list thing is a very smart idea. You're going to bring people in that can't, they're not trying to spend money right now. 16 movies for $25. I mean, you literally cannot go anywhere else for that price. They technically don't even need to get concessions. You can have that be the cheapest day ever. So, again, go get A-listed, go get A-listed. But let's get into a lot of stuff here going on. There's a lot going on in the economy, and Donald Trump today is talking about a lot of tax cuts, a lot of things that I've talked about. You've heard me talk about the carry interest loophole. He's talking about the 10-year today. There's a lot of things that he's showing that I've been saying forever. We don't need the fucking Federal Reserve. They're trash. And this is what he's doing. He's showing the world that we don't need the Federal Reserve. We can fix everything and function without them. If anything, they make the economy worse, as we all know, which we'll get into in a minute. But this is something we all need to talk about real quick, because this is the biggest fucking scam, and this is the biggest fucking joke in the world. So not only did these pieces of shit turn off the buy button, during the same time, what they ended up doing is Apex turned on lending for everybody because they didn't have the shares. So the prices should have went up way higher. But Apex, without people's permission, has been lending out. Like I said, Matt Coors pushing you guys to Weeble. I told you guys from day one. From fucking day one. Stop following this guy. He's a fucking idiot. The second he said, nope, let's not do the raise, I knew he's a fucking retard. And then the second he told, oh man, Weeble's the place to go, and I show him it's not. It wasn't the place to go. And then he goes to public, and I show him public's not the place to go because they use data centers. It's the same fucking thing. I go, you teach people how to direct route. That's the only thing that matters. Did he ever do that? No. Then what's he do? He comes out and shells fucking FTX. The dude loves fraud. Let's just call it this. The dude's a piece of shit, and we followed a fucking grifting piece of trash to a no vote when we should have said yes. But again, does not change the fact that they have cheated us to fucking no... Dude, everyone wants to sit here, and this is what I'm saying, everyone wants to blame Adam Aaron for every fucking possible thing. Well, what happens if they just turned all this shit on in the background? Like I said, we all saw what happened. People want to go get mad at, anytime we do a run, he would dilute. So he tried to maximize his dilution by going up on runs like every other fucking CEO in the goddamn world would do. Like I said, I'm not sticking up for the guy. Obviously, he's made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. But when you look in the back door... They were lending all of your guys' shares out, whether you had it on or not. And then they kept the money. So you wouldn't know. So instead of paying you... So people that signed up for the stock lending program, you got your receipts, you got your little payments. People that didn't, they still lent your shares out anyways. And then on top of that, they just didn't pay you. So you had no proof that they were doing it. They didn't want you to catch on. They didn't want you to figure out what was going on. They didn't want you to be like, well, why am I getting paid for these lending things? So they just didn't pay you. They kept all the money for lending out your shares. Well, guess what? When you can suddenly find locates, guess what? You can now get more shorts and shorts and shorts. Now there's more shares available. How many fucking times did they lend out a share? Per time, per person. How many... like I said, it gets to the point, they just lent out everybody's shit. They didn't care. They lent out everybody's stuff. Didn't give a fuck. Whether you signed up or not, you didn't get a fee. No, none of you guys got your fees. And they did it for 4 years. For 4 years, they lent out your shares and didn't pay you for it. This needs to be prison. That's it. Prison. Everyone involved, years. 30, 40 years. Literally. They stole from everybody. This is fucking fraud. They lent out people shares. And there's a reason why I'm getting into this. Because we're going to find out, you guys, this is happening in everything in the fucking world. And now all around the world. The problem is as you're going to find out here, like, for an example, the Bank of England. They have fucking gold, right? They lease out gold like clowns. They lease out their gold. Well, they lease it out to fucking 9, 10, 25 people, the same gold bar. But guess what? They hold it. Well, the problem is now that they have these tariffs going on, and all these tariffs came out, people tried to move their gold from Europe to the United States so they didn't get the tariffs on them. So now all of a sudden, Europe promised 27 people the same gold bar, the same gold coin. They leased it out to all of these fucking people. All these people are like, I'm going to pay the fees, do this, and we all got to move it over. I got to get it. I got to get this coin. I got to go over to the bank, and I got to go set up a box and blah, blah, blah. Well, crap, I can't have 12 people that I owe 21 of the same fucking coin collect at the same time. So there are a lot of problems, and that's why I told you guys, gold's going to be 3,000. I mean, I've said this, gold's going to be 3,000 really quick here. It's going to be way over. People that have listened to me on gold, you're up 11,000. And it's going to keep going. And it's going to keep going. Everyone that I told you guys, you want to have, this is your safe bet. People are like, what do we do for a long play? I'm like, just get fucking gold. If you want a long place to stay, have your safe haven, well, guess what? It's going up $1,100 in value. And it's going to keep going because everybody needs gold. As you see with Bitcoin, crypto, what's the first thing that gets liquidated? It's because it's a risk asset. There's risk attached to this. So in time of uncertainty, you offset risk. And Bitcoin drops. Does gold drop? Yeah, it drops $20, $30, $40, $50. Big fucking deal. And then the next week it comes back, and the week after that it's back up, and it's back up. And it's constantly rising. Central banks are continuously buying this shit. There's no risk of it going down at this point. That is your safe haven. I've said it for 4 years. Silver, it's the same thing. All of those are your safe places, but we'll get into that in a minute. But we have to talk about Donald Trump because I'm kind of blown away right now. I'm honest to God blown away. And if you've watched me forever, I don't like any fucking politician. Donald Trump, the first time I was talking shit every other day about the guy. So I'd sit there and be like, oh my God, he's just no, I'm not. I'm not just a super pro Trump. I don't give a fuck what color you wear. Here's everybody's problem in politicians. They care more about if the guy's wearing red or if he's wearing blue than what the guy did during his term in office. What should matter the most is what they do during their term in office. And right now, this dude is doing everything I said we need to do to fix this country and help the middle class and make us thrive again. And it's very simple. It's common fucking sense. When you look at the economy, when you look at how everything operates, it's very simple shit. It's not like I don't need a fucking master degree and all this shit to figure out all of this stuff. It is common fucking sense. What is the number one problem? The 10-year is flying back up. So for middle class, all of our rates are flying up. Why? Because our government is corrupt. There's corruption on every fucking end, and it knows no bounds, and they're spending by the billions and hundreds of billions into nothing, and they're wasting money, and the deficit grows, and the debt grows, and they don't give a fuck, because they are sitting there taking bribes, and they pass laws that make it so bribes are legal, as long as they commit the crime first. Like I said, this shit is unbelievable what has been happening over the last 4 years. So, the first thing you do if you want to go ahead and start actually fixing the country, you tackle debt. You tackle the deficit. You start to correct the 10-year. It's the simplest shit ever. And then you get into... you remember, you guys have heard me talk about the carried interest loophole? People sit there and go, we can't afford to get rid of these taxes. Yeah, you can. You go ahead and get rid of those taxes, and the way you make them up is you cancel out the carried interest loophole. And billionaires and hundreds and hundreds of millionaires and all these people that are stealing suddenly pay their fair share. They make up for all of the stuff that you guys don't pay, and then they make up for even more because that's how much they're not paying that they should be paying. The carried interest loophole is the biggest tax scam in the history of the fucking United States. It is one of the things that creates the biggest wealth gap in the United States, period. It is a biggest billionaires, hundreds and hundreds of millionaires pay less in taxes than a teacher because of this loophole. That's how big a deal it is. So when he saves 19% on $1 billion, that's a big fucking deal. He's paying less of a percentage than these teachers are paying. It is unbelievable. So again, we're going to go ahead and break into all that here in a second. But today, Trump comes out and says, I don't give a fuck about the feds. I don't need them to lower rates. I don't give a shit if they fucking pause rates. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. And I've told everybody that forever. This is what the media, this is their scam. This is their cover up. This is their, oh, here's our whatever. We can always go to this. The feds are lowering rates, so houses and everything. No, the only thing that happens when the feds lower rates is corporations pay less money. Perfect. Cool. I don't give a fuck. Guess what else it does? Sorry, hold on 1 second. The other thing it does here is it goes ahead and it makes it so banks, they have to pay you less on your savings account. The interest you make, and I showed you last month, the second they started cutting rates, Bank of America they slashed their saving rates. 0.0025%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're only paying under 1%, it's a lot. It's like a 20% drop. So they're already paying people 20% less. So when the Federal Reserve cut rates, it hurts you. It makes you make less money in your savings account. And then it makes corporations pay less in taxes. That's it. It's a fucking gong show. It's a facade. It's a fucking joke. If you look at when the United States has always been the best for middle class, when people were able to get loans, when people were able to get healthy loans, 2% loans. What was the 10-year? It was under 1%. We were the best ever. Everybody thrived. Everyone had people are having house payments that were $800, $900 that are now $2,000 plus. Why? Because the 10 years now over 4.5, 4.6%. It went from 0.7% to 4.678. We were up to 4.9. It's a massive deal. That's how you fix it. You don't give a shit about the feds. The way you fix it, the way you show the world, the way Trump gets what he wants, and that's getting rid of abolishing the Federal Reserve, is he fixes rates right now. He fixes credit card rates. He fixes auto rates. He fixes mortgage rates. He does it himself. And he does it through lowering the 10-year yield. That's all you do. You just start fixing the deficits. You start fixing the debt. You start paying things down. And guess what? Here's the thing. Around the world, listen to this. All countries around the world have over $100 trillion in debt. Think about that. Fiat currency, all fiat currency right now is $100 trillion in debt. That's insane. The whole world. How do you become a superpower? It's easy. I don't need to take you out. I don't need to blow you up. I don't need guns. I don't need bombs. I don't need shit. I just go ahead and suddenly I just take care of my debt. I be the only country in the world that starts taking care of their debt and has all the other things to back it. And guess what? My dollar is now stronger than fuck, and I don't give a shit what you do. I don't care what BRICS does. Make your gold-backed currency. If the United States debt got under control, if our deficit got under control, if our GDP actually got back to positive, if we didn't have to fake numbers across the board just to make data try to make sense, which it still doesn't, to try to support fake GDP, because GDI tells a different story. I showed you guys the gap. I showed you guys since Biden took over, GDI and GDP have separated. So their data is lying to you. That's all it does. And it's lying harder and harder. And then guess what? Proved my point. Every single time what happened? A revision. You had the largest revision in history, 880,000 jobs under Biden. You had the largest job revision in history because they just kept lying. And I told you that was going to happen because GDI took a massive spike on the graph. Those are supposed to correlate. They're supposed to be parallel. And instead, they're growing apart. So what you're telling me doesn't support data. So again, you want to be the world power, get your fucking debt under control. It's as simple as that. And by getting your debt under control, you populate your middle class. You empower your middle and lower class. And guess what happens in an economy that has a trickle-down effect? If middle class is rich, not rich, but well off. If you have an see, that's what we don't have anymore. This is where the United States died. You no longer have an upper middle class. You have rich, you have bottom middle class, and you have poor. That's it. You used to have rich. You'd have upper middle class. You'd have rich, you'd have super rich. There'd be rich, you'd have upper middle class, lower middle class, poor, super poor. You would have like 9 classes. Wealth was distributed so differently. Now it's so mass parts are over here. Smaller parts are where we all get all the breadcrumbs are down there. It's so much proportioned, it's not even funny. So at this point, the only way to start to fix your country is empower and get get your middle class going again. Why? Because it will re-stimulate your economy. It will re-stimulate your GDP. And it will get you back on fucking track. I showed you guys that the Treasury, the Federal Reserve right now owes $220 billion to the Treasury. They're at $220 billion in debt. What Trump is exposing and what he's fixing is the core problem. And like I said, I have never in my life, in a month ago, 2 weeks ago, you would never in my life hear me sit here and talk about I'm fucking pro what Trump is doing right now. But right now, what he's doing over this week, and this is just the start. Like the next couple things are fucking even just as great, even better. Fixing the problems that need to be fixed that will put us where we need to be. This is the type of shit that needs to be done. I've told you guys forever. You want a president that I don't give a shit. Yes. Is he does he do his bullshit? Is he corrupt? Of course he is. They're all corrupt. I don't give a fuck who you put in office. The day they get in office, he wasn't even in office. He was day before his office. He grifted the world to make his money. He just said it up front. All right, I'm gonna make my money, and then I'm gonna fucking. Now it looks like he goes. All right, now I'm gonna go after the system that is fucking corrupt as shit. He grifted his money, and anyone that doesn't think he made, like I said, he made all those hundreds of millions off that. And yes, his shit's vested, and that's fine. Keep all that money. He's still gonna make money. People will sell the coin down the road, but again, he still made money off that. But this is the shit that we need to see, again, for us. I don't give a fuck. Like I said, it's not an excuse. The guy, that's to me the biggest grift I've ever seen. Like, that needs to go down in history. You grifted day before you were president. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. That is unfathomable. It's unheard of. It's crazy. But again, this last week, these next couple things are like, dude. Again, hats off, man. I will talk shit to a president every time he does stupid fucking shit. You know he's doing it. And if they ever actually do something good, like start crushing your tenure, getting it back down to 2%, you guys, listen to me. If Trump gets the 10-year down, if nothing else, if he gets the 10-year down, listen to this. If he gets it down to 2%, it'd be the greatest thing a president's done in the last fucking 50 years. Seriously, because now you're going to have the housing market that's dead. It'll open back up. What's killing it? It's the high rates with the high price. Well, guess what? You're now going to have 4% mortgages, 3% mortgages again. Supply will open. You now have a housing crisis fixed just because he fixed the 10-year. Credit cards, the credit card debt crisis. People are paying 21% right now. You'd go back down to 8, 10, 12%. Manageable. People can now have a savings account. Auto loans. People are paying 18%. I just talked to a friend of mine. I mean, I literally almost fucking puked. He told me he pays almost $800 a month for his car. What? Holy fuck. $800 a month? Blew my mind. I'm like, dude, that used to be a house, first of all. And that's... Jesus, that's like half my fucking... Like, that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. For a car, that's mind-blowing. And trust me, he's not driving a Mercedes or anything. Blows my mind. But suddenly people can go get cars again and then have a savings to pay for the fucking cars. You don't need 2 jobs just to pay for a car, a house, and food. Fixing the tenure is that important to middle class. It gives you lending again, the ability to get loans and lend and afford those loans and lend and live. I wrote this, 3 days ago, and then, I've been saying this for a little bit, that if he does these couple things, the second he said he wants to get rid of the Federal Reserve, I go, okay, there's only one way to get rid of the Federal Reserve, and that's to lower rates and show the world you don't need the Federal Reserve. And today he's showing he's going to do that. If he attacks the debt, he's attacking the deficit. He's clearing out bullshit waste through the Doge. One of the things that he said today, now this is massive. Listen to this. Hold on. I put my headphones in. It did the same goddamn thing. It does it every time I put my headphones in. Hold on, please. There you go. Sorry about that. 1 second. Listen to this.
So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap, eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners, close the carried interest tax deduction loophole, tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
Now, first of all, let me just say one thing. The upgrade compared to the speaker, compared to the last one, what an insane upgrade. Like I said, the transparency, the right team won, guys. I don't care if you're blue, pro, whatever. The right team won. This is the shit we need. We need this right here. Why the fuck am I paying taxes on tips? Why does anyone ever pay taxes on tips? That's me going over and you doing me a favor. You don't work for me. You're not an employee. No one's an employee that gets taxed or that gets tipped. I'm not tipping you because you're a fucking employee of mine. You're doing me a service, so I'm giving you a tip for a service saying, hey, thanks for going out of your way and doing me a service. That's why you go out and tip. You tip for a service. They're not your employee. You don't pay them fucking wages, nothing. So why the fuck would you ever tax that? It makes 0 sense, ever. Taxes on Social Security for seniors. Seniors pay their entire life into taxes for Social Security. The fucking fact that you take it out after is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. They need that money for fucking prescriptions that you guys are already overcharging the shit out of them. Or they're overcharged senior living centers for everything. $50 billion for a fucking pudding cup that costs you a nickel. Like you said, joke. This is massive. No tax on overtime pay. Again, gives you more incentive to work. People that have that I want to work mindset, I want to stay overtime, get that extra pay. Now you're not paying any taxes on any of that extra pay. Your whole salary, all that, it's going to be non-taxed. You earned it. Here's how you do it. And this is exactly how you do it. Why am I paying taxes on my work? Nobody should pay taxes on work. You should pay taxes on your wants, your services, your spending habits. You pay taxes on services, products. That's what you should pay it on. Yes, are prices going to go up a little bit more? Sure, but if they go down in every other aspect, and if you get more income, if you get to continuously keep more of your income, people should pay taxes on the services instead of food, necessities, things like that. Wants. People don't need to have, all of these things. People get so much shit, bro. Like the other day, we have a couch, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like 2 years old. We should get a new couch. It doesn't. The only thing is it doesn't match the room. Like everything in my room is like this teal color, and my couch is randomly purple because we had to match my old house. I'm like my dad, man. I will have something until it's broken. I don't give a fuck. Like, even when it's breaking, I'm going to tape something on. Until it can't possibly be used, I'm not going to spend money on anything. Like I said, it's like, I still have my dad's old school mentality. I don't need to have the newest, all this crap, all this stuff. I've never been like that. I don't need the nicest this, that. Yes, I have a couple nice things that are super, super nice. But that's it. I have a couple nice things. I don't need everything else. But those are the things you should tax people on. Not, like I said, not necessities to live off. This. People, here, listen to this. These sports owners are getting massive tax breaks. But listen to this. When these guys built their stadiums, they asked the city to pay a massive, large portion of the stadium project. What the fuck? Why are your taxes going up for a billionaire stadium? He's the billionaire owner of the fucking stadium. If he wants a new stadium, he should fucking pay for the new stadium, not the entire city and all this. And then he gets a tax break on top of it because he paid less than the fucking city did. They said this shit's crazy. The carried interest loophole is the biggest tax scam in fucking history. This is a fucking scam. Listen to this. These guys should be paying 37%. But instead on their income, on their billions of dollars, on their millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, they pay 15% under the carried interest loophole. This is the shit they fucking pay. And if they hold it long enough, they can get it even down longer. And if they hold it, there's points where if they never get rid of it, they never have to pay for it, which they do through, guess what? Stock compensation, through salary. Everybody that compliments Ryan, oh my God, he takes zero salary. Who gives a fuck? He's getting no fucking, all of his shit he's getting from you guys, from GME. All this shit Adam Aaron gets, all these shares vested. They just carry interest loophole it. And they pay basically nothing on it when they fucking come time to sell. Instead of paying they just go ahead and they basically, instead of, all right, so look at it this way. Ryan's smart as fuck. People that want to go ahead and, oh my God, he does it for the company. He does it for himself. It's to make, why all CEOs don't do this is fucking beyond retarded. Instead of taking a salary where you're paying all this taxes, you just take stock compensation and you get a bigger percentage of what you would have got through cash. And then you just hold on to it. And if you hold on to it for a year, guess what? Instead of paying that income taxes and state tax on it, you're paying fucking taxes on capital gains. You're paying taxes on long-term, you pay long-term capital gains tax. Instead of state tax and income tax, you just pay capital gains tax. So he saves 30%. Huge, massive percent of his salary that would have just went to taxes. It's smart as fuck. All CEOs should do this. Just take it in your thing. Wait a year, because here's why. Listen, everybody goes, well, then he has to wait on the money. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. What he does is he goes out and has this. He has all this stock, just like you see with Elon. He has all this stock, and then he just goes out and uses his collateral and gets a loan. He can pay, and then he lives off the loan. And then he can sell stock at a year down the road, or whenever he needs to, after he pays half the income tax he would have paid, no state tax. So then he's not paying any of those taxes. And then he pays his loan. So instead of paying all that, like I said, he pays his loan. So he pays the rate of his loan. So he pays the 4% on his loan, but he saves 30% on his taxes in the meantime. And then he can just keep fucking paying off loans. Wait a year, pay it off, and then he saved $30 million. He saved $30 million in taxes that me and you would have paid, and then he can pay that money that he saves, that $40 million. He pays his fucking loan with it. That's what they do. They just, all the money they save in taxes that me and you would pay, they pay their loans with that, with the loophole money. So then they can go ahead and live their lavishing lifestyles and just take out a loan. It's that simple. And if you go ahead and you fucking close this loophole, they all need to take salary, just like me and you. And guess what? They're going to have huge salaries. And they're going to pay huge taxes on those salaries, on income taxes and state taxes, like fucking me and you. And guess what? Those massive amounts, because you're not talking me and you difference, you're talking billionaire difference. That made up for all the taxes that you guys just got cut. Every penny that me and you just saved, that we get to save, that we're going to go and spend at their stores anyways. Guess what? The billionaires just paid their portion and then some. I don't care if they pay $1 billion. I care what percent they pay. They need to pay the same as me and you. It's that simple. There should be no loophole where they can wait a year and in the meantime take a loan out and save 30% of what they would have paid and then pay their loan with that. That's a fucking scam. And it's a joke. That means they're getting free money on our expenses, on loopholes, off crime. So, if Donald Trump can close this, that means billionaires will pay their portion, which means me and you can finally have the tax breaks instead of we gotta have to charge you guys more taxes because we have to make up for what we lost. No, you don't. You need to charge the people who have the money, that the right amount that they should have been paying the last 20 fucking years. That's it. That's all you have to do. Crime 101. Close crime loophole 101. That's it. And then guess what? You're gonna make even more money from making these guys than what you take from me and you. And now they got even more taxes, and that's more towards GDP. And now we're looking towards profitable a profitable country because it's how it should be. It's as simple as that. And now you're empowering them because, again, hey guys, if you want to go work, I shouldn't tax you more because you're working. You should be able to keep that money because you fucking earned it. If you get tips, you should be able to keep that money because you fucking earned it. Like I said, this would be the biggest, like she said, biggest tax break, biggest change ever to our class compared to them. It would be, like I said, it's not fair at all because we don't have these advantages. I can't go up to fucking my job. I can't go to my construction company and say, hey, I'm going to need you to go ahead and put my shit in stock. And then give me millions or enough. No, give me my yearly salary in stock. Let me go take a loan out quick and then save all this money and then pay the difference. And then I'm saving so much. Nope, that's not going to work. But these guys do. They shouldn't have this ability. They already have more money than me and you. Why do they need fucking breaks? Why do they need cuts? Why do they need loopholes? Why do they need extra? How much is fucking enough? There's only so much to go around. What the fuck do you already have 9 yachts. What's number 10 doing for you? You won't even fucking see it. Your other ones, you don't see the entire year, and they collect dust. Congratulations, you're a fucking piece of shit. Jesus. I fucking won. No, you didn't. You're just expose loopholes of crime and can bribe people unlike the rest of us. Like I said, man, this shit's fucking insanity. Well, you talk about Ryan changing the shares to personal name for the company. That's the thing. Like, honest to God, I don't know. There's so much advantages of having it not in his name compared to having it in his fucking name. So it's like, people are like, oh man, it means he's going to do a merger. Well, I don't really think you need to have that to do a merger. I mean, maybe, I guess, but I don't really think, it's not like they're going to need to come in and he needs to sell off this massive port. I mean, maybe, I guess, but is he going to sell shares? Well, no, doesn't really make sense he'd sell shares. Is he going to go DRS them? I mean, I thought everyone said he DRS the shares anyways. Didn't he already DRS the shares? So what the fuck? Honest to God, don't know why he did it. Maybe he's getting rid of his fund and he's opening up a new one. Maybe there's another place that he can go get more loophole, more tax breaks, because that's what I'm saying. Ryan Cohen is an intelligent man. That's it. He knows the system. Like I said, everyone's in there, oh my God, he did it for the good of GameStop. He did it for the good of this. Ryan Cohen doesn't take a salary because the carried interest loophole makes him more money by not taking a salary. Every CEO should do this. Period. Most of them do it because they don't want to have to go get a loan. But in the end of the day, Ryan's new school. Ryan's not like these old. Look at every other company's CEO. They're like fucking 100 years old. They're all like 75 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old. They're all living in an old money system, the old money ways. Ryan doesn't do that shit. He shows you by what he does with GameStop and how he invests money in money market funds. He's raking in treasury notes and he's offsetting. Again, GameStop is losing money. Every quarter they're losing money and shutting down stores. GameStop's current business model is not a good one. I've said it forever. I still have shares and I'm gonna keep. I have long dated options. Every time I look down at GameStop and it goes down at pretty good levels, I still want to buy it. I have complete faith that it's so simple. All you need to do is just pick a direction. It's that simple. But currently, everyone wonders, like, well, This is my point that everyone, GameStop fixed its fundamentals and it hasn't blown up. No, it didn't. GameStop didn't fix its fundamentals. What the fuck are you talking about? GameStop is only profitable because it has all this money that it raised from you guys, and it's putting it in money market funds, and it's offsetting operating costs. That's it. GameStop it's running at a loss. It's losing money every quarter, and Ryan Cohen is smart enough to put in money market funds to offset and then make money and look profitable on paper. Good job. That is a great move as a CEO until you sit there. That's an incredible job as a CEO until you know what to do. Until you know where to go, that's what he should have done. Raised capital, became a money market fund in the meantime, and now he's not going to burn any more cash for you guys. He doesn't need to dilute. He can just keep on investing, reinvesting, take the money that he's gained, maybe 12 million. He's not putting it into anything. He's not updating the stores on GameStop. He's not updating their CapEx. He's closing stores down. So he's just going to keep reinvesting all the profit over and over to keep offsetting losses. Perfect. That's exactly what he needs to do until he figures out what he wants to do. So like I said, to me, yes, I still believe GameStop, if you look at just, market and everything, it's overinflated. Obviously, retail is overinflating it and holding it. And I still think because of that, when it has room to, when he announces what he wants to do, the sky's the fucking limit. You have a debt-free company backed by retail with a direction that gets to profitability. Sign me up. But again, back to Trump, the feds. Like I said, if Trump can show the world he doesn't need the feds, we don't need the feds. Our life are better off without the feds. Our life, our way of life, our conditions are better when the Fed are gone. Guess what? Now we can start looking at this. Former senior advisor for the Federal Reserve. Fucking got charged with espionage, was selling trade secrets, and has been arrested, was selling trade secrets to China. Like I said, the Federal Reserve is a corruption piece of shit that supports. Its only job is to give you the illusion that everything's okay, and the only thing it is supposed to make up programs and support the cartel banking system from crashing under and giving us any excuse under the sun why they need to print money to bail out their banking criminals. That's it. That is it. That is the only purpose of the Federal Reserve. And then to print money and make our life shittier. It's to make the banking system and the bankers' lives better at the expense of the American people. That's it. Meanwhile, if Trump can get rid of that corruption and get in something different, or get like a gold-backed reserve currency and then start paying down debt, you'll have the strongest America you've ever seen. Especially compared to the rest of the world that's in complete debt and chaos. If we can start focusing, paying down the debt, fixing the deficit, fixing the trade deficit, that is the point of these tariffs. Just like you show with Mexico. You go ahead, you do negotiations, you say, all right, if you don't do what I want, I'm going to fuck your currency up. I'm going to raise the value of mine, I'm going to lower the value of yours, and your life's going to be living hell. So do what I want, or else. And guess what? Mexico folds, you paused it, Mexican dollar, it flew down, the dollar rose. Now that China placed their tariffs, the dollar went back down. It's all about currency wars on getting your way. Well, Trump is going ahead and he's going to keep getting rid of all these deficits through tariffs. And next thing you notice, you're not going to have a trade deficit. Now, if you get your budget under control and your spending under control, and then you fix GDP, you fix your tax system, guess what? Now America can actually thrive and get back to where we were. A growing economy, producing economy that actually is profitable compared to what the fuck we are now, relying on the rest of the world and just racking up debt at the expense of our people at any cost. Meanwhile, we find out USAid has been sitting there nonstop, used to fucking pay off BBC. Why are we paying the British Broadcasting Company? What the fuck are they getting millions of dollars for? You find out we paid $70 million to the World Economic Forums. So taxpayers are paying hundreds of millions, billions of dollars to other countries, other organizations. You found out George Soros got money. a whole bunch of people that don't need to be getting money. Again, USAID was, again, you find out nothing but all these people living off taxpayer dollars. Now, there was a thing of Ken Griffin. It looked like he might have made $8 million, but it looks like, I can't verify if the first one for sure was him, but there was a museum type purchase. I don't know if that, that might have, and I remember a scene when Ken Griffin, when it went for his funding, and if you guys look it up, he bought a dinosaur bone, and when he bought that dinosaur bone, one of the things it said was grant funding. So, people that are asking, is that even the same Ken Griffin? I don't think the top one is the same Ken Griffin, but that $1 million, I think, is that grant money that he got to help buy that dinosaur bone to donate to that museum, which is a tax write-off. So we basically helped buy him a dinosaur bone to donate for a tax write-off. So he still got $1.3 million of our tax money through USAID. And it makes no fucking sense. These guys individuals should not be getting this money. Now you already have retards. They're like, let's look up AMC Bigums. And now they're like, look at he paid a construction company. First of all, dumbass, you didn't even read the guy's name, clown. It says Adam Aaron Lamb. His middle name is Aaron, and his last name is Lam. Now, I'm not trying to put the guy on blast and expose some random innocent guy, but you can type that name in, look up CEOs, look up the fucking business that it talks about, and see the guy's fucking face. You are a moron. No one has paid me a penny. I've earned everything with my own 2 hands and hard work. I don't need people to tell me what to say. Again, I've shown you everything correctly. I told you guys to get out of ISDA banks, right? Oh yeah, that's right. That's what we all should have done. Guess why? Because they go ahead and they fucking fund the hedge funds that are attacking you. I told you guys to get out of payment for order flow platforms and direct route your routes. Why? Because that's how they can control the price. Told you to turn off stock lending. As you saw, Apex turned it on anyways, but it was correct. I told you guys GameStop or AMC was 4 times more exposed than GameStop, and guess what? The GameStop report itself by your own government said, yep, that was correct. It was way more overexposed. Like I said, what else was I right about? Oh, yeah, we should have diluted at $30. What else was I right about? Well, all those FTDs that they create, they hide them in the CNS program. Told you that's exactly where they hid them. Showed you guys about internalization, ATS. I've shown you every single thing that they can possibly do. So if anybody questions my motive at this point, you're literally retarded. I can't tell you how unfathomably stupid you are. Like, it's unbelievable. Your mom should be embarrassed she had you. You are that fucking uneducated. It is unbelievable. I've shown you everything we needed to do. Just because they changed the rules when they own the system doesn't mean that I can fucking... All right, guys, the rules say this, but then they changed it and made a loophole. And then I show you the loophole, and then they go, well, you said it would do this. And then I also showed you that it wouldn't do this because they made a fucking loophole a week before it went into effect. Because they're fucking criminals. We're now showing you they're paying off the media. And using your taxpayers' money to fucking pay off the media to lie to you. Like, you've been right about everything. We have been right about everything. Same people. Oh my God, he works for Martin Shkreli. The same piece of shit that I've called out corruption. Doug Sifu. I told you guys, Doug Sifu was stealing from construction workers months before the lawsuit came out. I told you, I've literally exposed crimes that these guys have done. And then they gotten charged with lawsuits after. But yes, I work for these guys? Yeah, I know. I work for bankers, but I tell you to get out of banks. I work for Adam Aaron. Here's my other question then. Here. I have put up about 45 stock plays in the last 2 months. Do I work for all those CEOs? Did they all come and pay me? Or do I just look at fucking data and read data and show you, this is what data says? I said, shit cracks me up, man. But again, look at this shit. $70 million to the World Economic Forums. For what? Why are we giving them grants? Why are our tax-paying money paying for this shit? Price of gold. For 4.5 years, I've told you guys, get in fucking gold. Get in gold. Gold is going to be your safe haven like we went over in the beginning of this. Gold will break in a month from now, gold will be over 3,000. When I told you guys to buy, it was at it was at like $1,086. $1,600 it was running up and down between that points for a little bit, and then it started skyrocketing. You're up almost $1,300 to this point. $1,300 to $1,700 you're up on your gold safe haven. Again, I was right about all this other shit. I was right about ISDA. That's how they can control it. I was right about the derivatives market. Gold is your safe place, guys. I've been saying this for years. Physical gold. Don't buy gold ETF. Don't go buy gold. Get fucking leased gold. No. Buy gold coins and put it in your safe. Buy fucking pure gold coins. But if you can afford a gold fucking balloon, a bar, get one. Put it in your safe. That is your safe spot for all currency crashes. There it is. And it's just going to get up more and more. Why? Look at. Traders are moving gold from the Bank of England to the U.S. because of tariffs. And because of tariff scare. And guess what? The Bank of England doesn't have it. Bank of England is just like JPMorgan. They fake their money. They fake how much gold they have. They fake how much nickel they have. You remember when they had bags of nickel and JPMorgan filled them with bags of rocks because they didn't have the nickel, but they leased it out to tons of people? They sold stuff they didn't have. Sound familiar? Well, the Bank of England has now went from a day delivery on gold up to 6 to 4 weeks. And now it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks for them to move because they don't have it. And now the Bank of England needs to go out and buy a shit ton of gold just to deliver it so they can move it over to the U.S. Because they promised it to 45 people. And they didn't realize those 45 people were going to all want to transfer their gold now. So, behind the scenes, Trump just went and fucked England up. Now, according to recent reports, the Bank of England is facing a potential crisis due to concerns that they've leased out more gold than they physically have in their reserves, causing worry about the integrity of the gold market and potential issues with fulfilling redemption requests if a large number of people try to go out and get their gold. So, again, more selling shit that they don't have. And now you have, the problem is, and I'm going to show you guys these numbers because they're going to blow your fucking mind. It is unbelievable. It is truly unbelievable. Well, hold on. No, let's skip over to it. We'll get back to that. Look at this. The fuck is it? Look at this. And I verified it. This is true. But I always want to give... I know, people are like, why are you showing this? You can verify this information. Google it right now. It will literally pull up... you can literally pull up the Federal Reserve data, everything. It'll pull up and verify this information. But I always like to... If you're an accountant, you give out good information, I like to let people know. So people follow you and get that information. Listen to this. This is unreal. More than 90% of money... more than 50 trillion, it only exists on a computer screen. $6 trillion worth of paper and coins exist. 6 trillion. The other 50 trillion is nothing more than shit on the computer screen. And why do I say this? Because it's the same in every other aspect. When all of you guys go to get money, it's not going to be there. Why, I said, get the fuck out of FDIC banks. When you go to get your money, it's not there. It's gone. There's nothing there. There's nothing in these vaults. They don't have this shit in vaults. They don't have it in vaults. And look at that. The last couple whistleblowers that told on these banks are dead. This whistleblower, they're trying to hide him right now because they're trying to expose and do this case. But he's working with Elizabeth Warren, who's a piece of trash herself, who's a fucking corrupt piece of trash. But she's part of the Senate Banking Committee. But they're trying to put these charges as. But this new whistleblower, who's going to end up dead, he's telling on JPMorgan, saying they don't have the money they're supposed to have currently in the bank, in their reserve. So if people come and ask for it, they don't have it. They don't have close to it. And not only do they not have that money, they're making loans like they have that money, and they're making billions of dollars off money they don't have, and they shouldn't even be giving loans out on. They're faking money to make billions because they're losing it everywhere else, and they have to offset it. So they're faking how much money they have in the reserve so they can make loans they shouldn't be taking out. And then they're profiting off those loans. So, listen to this. He claimed that they have, they are underestimating how, or overestimating, sorry. Why is he saying under? So, how much they should have. So, every amount of money you should have on, like however much money your bank has, so they have like 2.3 trillion, you have to have a certain percentage. So what they're doing is saying they have hundreds of billions of dollars less in capital. Okay? So then they have to have that much less in a vault. So they're lying about how much money they have. Then they're taking that hundred billions of dollars and they're betting on it. In the market, they're opening swaps and they're betting money and they're making money off hundreds of billions of dollars that they shouldn't be making. This former policymakers warned that the lack of proper enforcement would allow this. And it would come at taxpayers footing the bill. So this guy's telling on them that they're understating money and then taking billions of dollars that they say they don't have and they're buying swaps with it. And he's going to end up dead. And they're saying that he's told the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve's turning a blind eye. They don't give a fuck. They know they're doing it. The Federal Reserve is not going to do something that will hurt the banks or the banking system, and they will let them get away with all criminality. What needs to happen in the United States? This tax system needs to get fixed, those things that I talked about in the beginning, and the next thing we need to do is abolish the banks. All FDIC banks need to be abolished, starting with JPMorgan. JPMorgan needs to be dissolved brick by brick. Every single executive that's worked on the board in the last 10 to 15 years needs to go to prison for life. Jamie Dimon needs the death penalty. All 13 people that were indicted in the Virgin Island, Jeffrey Epstein Island case that were proven to have visited, funded, and frequently talked about the island need the death penalty because they're all fucking pieces of trash and they're destroying the country, they're destroying your retirement, and they've destroyed everyone that you have ever known, love, and their family members' future and everything. Their entire lives are harder because JPMorgan exists. If JPMorgan was disassembled, the amount of crime that would stop in this country, JPMorgan Chase has been involved in every single major scandal in United States history. Every single major, everyone, look it up. It doesn't matter who it is. They have been involved in every single way. Go into the database right now on tracker violation. Look at the top 100 violations by charge and how much damage was caused. JPMorgan Chase is involved. I was at almost 89%. JPMorgan Chase had a hand in it. They work with cartel, I'm employed by them according to these guys. They work with cartel, blacklisted oligarchies. They do laundering money. Without them, there would be no Jeffrey Epstein Island. They funded the island. They funded the airports. They gave them all the loans. All payments went through JPMorgan Chase. They were all flagged, and the executive said, that's okay. Because they all fucking went there. They're all pieces of fucking human trash. Because they're above the law, and they know that they won't go to prison because they can get acceptance, waivers, and consents. And if Elon Musk and if Trump ever come out and say we're abolishing acceptance, waivers, and consents, you will only be prosecuted by our system. Wall Street would be fixed in a matter of one day. Because it would no longer be no threat of jail and no threat of losing money. Because every one of these crimes, their fine is less than how much they profited off the crime. If they went to jail and it was minimum 30 years to life to, again, death penalty. Because you're not talking, people go, oh man, the death penalty. It's not a small thing, you guys. It's not. You're talking about people have killed themselves when they've lost their life. People have lost life savings in the stock market crashes. Not from fault of their own. From the crime of others. They've lost their lives. They've lost their savings. They've lost 30 years of work they can never get back. And now they need to work till they're retired. Even though for the last 30 years they've put that money away so they didn't. Now they have nothing to leave their children. And the amount, the millions and millions of Americans that have been affected by it. Why they don't even blink. When then they go home to their $300 fucking million mansions, dude. Like I said, the biggest piece, the richest people, Nancy Pelosi, these politicians, the people that people should look up to are just nothing but criminals. They're the people that all the richest people in America, almost 80% of them need to just be locked up because they got there through crime or exploiting laws or through bribery. Now, again, like I said, I was going to get into the trade wars with the tariffs, but again, Trump's going to keep using that to fix that trade deficit to get our 10-year back. Again, governments around the world are at $100 trillion in debt. If you're the United States and you can go ahead and fix that, get yourself back to a positive earning GDP, a positive, profitable country, once again, get rid of the Federal Reserve owing money, and actually, if they can't fix this and start putting money back in, then you need to go ahead and get rid of them, dissolve them, and create an entity and it needs to be backed by the government or some other thing. People go, well, entities backed by central banks have this guy goes, they have the best GDP compared to dictatorships. Dictatorships, first of all, America's not a dictatorship. Just because you don't like Trump and he's doing certain things, it's not a dictatorship. He still has laws to follow. We still have to vote him in. He's still not in there forever. He's not a fucking king. It's not like North Korea and the shit you want to talk about that don't care about their people. They kill their people for fun. They kill them for sports. The fact that some people even compare the two things is hilarious. Central banks are the most corrupt things in the world. They're all corrupt. They're all corrupt and they all steal, they all lie, and they all do anything they can at the expense of their citizens to enrich the bankers and themselves, and that's it. That's it. That's all they do. But if you have a government entity on a blockchain where people can sit there and you have people in charge, and guess what? Everything he does is visible to us. That's what you need. You need a Federal Reserve with transparency. And that is exactly what he can create. And that's exactly what, like I said, the Federal Reserve needs to go. It's hidden in shadows and corruption. Now, the commercial real estate bomb, speaking of Trump and all this, and the Doge, well, guess what they're going at now? For commercial real estate, the model was, in 2024, survive till 2025. Because they know in 2025, it's all coming crashing down. We're going to do it by extending and pretending loans. We're going to just pretend people made payments, and in a couple months, we're going to go ahead and default like fucking mad. And we're going to pray to God something changes. Well, guess what? The government decided today that they're going to go ahead and start crushing leases. The government is going to start canceling leases in the commercial real estate at an alarming rate. They want to cancel 7,500 leases by the end of the year. They want to start canceling 300 leases a month. They want to now cancel 7,500 buildings across the country. A lot of these are owned by banks because the banks thought that these were backed by the government, so they took the loans. JPMorgan Chase, tons of your big banks, 7,500 of their commercial real estates are suddenly going to go off the market, and they're going to get nothing for them. They're going to get fucking small payoffs, and they're going to take smashes. They're going to take huge losses on all 7,500 buildings. Let's go. They're getting rid of tons. These are tons of these areas. Like I said, where was their lender? Hold on. Where was the one that said the banks were... Oh, did I close it? Most of the banks actually were the ones on the leases. Where am I missing it? Where are they? Oh, it was on... Hold on. I think it was on this Trep site. I'll find it. I'm going to find it. It's well, okay. Well, I'm going to keep going. I don't have much time, but it's mainly all the banks. It's all the top banks that are the lenders that are on the leases on all this. Again, they were the ones loaning it out. They bought the buildings and they leased them out to the government, thinking they'd just make a huge bank, and now they're going to take huge fucking losses on top of that. On top of that, the other day here, a building that sold for $200 million just sold the other day for $6.25 million. They took an 85% loss. These are the losses that these guys are going to be taking this year in 2025. 85%. There's $1.5 trillion that is set to renew, and now the government just added a whole bunch more. Again, guys, this is the year of the commercial. I don't know what do you do. After you extend to pretend, what's left? There's nothing left. You just fake that they paid you. What else can you do? We pretended they paid me. How long can you do that for? And that means the debt that person owes you is just going to keep growing and growing until he says bankruptcy. You're just not ready to put it on paper loss yet, so you're letting them do it. Now, this is a big deal. I got to get going here in about I got about 10 minutes here, so I got to get through these last couple things. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. This affects you. This affects everybody. This affects the SEC. And at first, I was insanely against it. But this could be a very good thing. This could be a very, very good thing, or this could be a bad thing. Now, I want you to hear this before I break this down. People on Wall Street say this is a bad thing. And they say it's going to slow down investigations and we shouldn't want it. Which means you want it, and that's a good thing. Now, at first, I read about this and I was like, you know what? Maybe this will slow them down, but it's not going to. What it's going to do is prevent wasted time at the SEC. It's going to prevent stupid investigations. It's going to make it so they can focus on bigger cases, bigger clients with the CAT system. This gives them the ability, again, if they're trying to actually clean some of this shit up. And one of the things now, listen, of course this is speculation. But if anybody's going to come in and actually maybe have a little say in this, it's going to be Elon, who's being affected by shorts, who's been fucked over by them, who's made money off them. Trump, who his company has been affected by them. Well, this is how they can do it. They can go ahead and now they have to go ahead and ask, hey, we're going to go after these guys. It's going to make them harder to go after certain people. But it's also going to make them go after less frivolous people because they might not get approved. Now, if I'm not going to get approved going after a mom and pop shop, I'm not going to waste my fucking time going to ask a congressman for approval for this. They now need to go ahead and go through a special committee. Now, the special committee will have 3 members. It will be 2 Republicans and a Democrat. Okay, so before they get in, they have to ask for a committee to be made. Now, the committee will be different people, so it's a revolving committee. It's not the same guy, so corruption doesn't come. It's not the same 2 Republicans. It's not the same Democrat. Obviously, when Democrats, if they win the next election, they will modify it so it's not 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat. But for now, it's 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat, so they control. The Democratic Party has control over what the SEC does and does not go after. Now, Democrats have some say. Maybe there's a moment where the Republicans don't agree on something, and the Democrat says yeah, and then they get their way. So there's still a chance, so they still have a seat at the table. Obviously, they'll be over-vetoed a lot, but they still have a seat at the table. But again, this is huge waste of commission resources to go after, some people are like, well, I think this is a huge waste of our resources to have to go for a committee and then ask. Well, it's also a huge waste of resources to ask to go after mom and pop shop when you have bigger fish to fucking fry. You know what I mean? So you're not going to sit there and waste time or waste those resources making a case to go after mom and pop if you think you're going to get rejected. It doesn't waste resources like they're trying to say. Because again, you're going to prevent wasting resources because you have to go in front of Congress. You're not going to go in front of these guys and ask and look like a dumb fuck. Hey, by the way, I just wasted your time. No, you're going to only spend resources on cases that are worth bringing in front of them. So again, I don't know. It's like he's doing all the right things, but I'm having a hard time trusting him. It's still Trump. It's still Elon Musk. But all these things, I said, God, the day somebody starts to do these things, the day somebody actually cares about the tenure, that tells me he cares about me and you. And he fucking says it. I don't give a fuck about the Fed rates. I say it all the time. Fed rates can stick it up their ass. They don't do a fucking thing. They hurt me and you. They're bad for me and you. But they make it pretend like me and you should be like, oh, the Fed's fucking cut rates so the mortgages will go down. I don't get it. Mortgages aren't going down. I don't understand. They told me that's what. Nope. They want you uneducated and stupid. And then you go, what's going on? I don't get it. And then you just move on with your day and forget about it. Because it's something you don't worry about. That's how they control the population. Nope. It's as simple as all they need to say is we just need to fix the tenure. And your life will be better. And the way we fix that is not having a deficit and trading deficit. Not having a deficit at the GDP. Not fucking burning money and not having a giant ass fucking debt. And paying down the ceiling instead of expanding it. You don't need to keep expanding your debt ceiling. Just fucking pay it down and manage it. Duh. Oh my God, you mean, what are you fucking spending it on? As we find out, and as Trump's pointing out, hundreds of billions are being spent on waste. Well, if he cuts let's say he cuts $1 trillion in waste over 2-3 years, that's trillions of dollars towards GDP. That's a fucking huge turnaround for the United States. Said it's all right in front of you. Again, why are you worrying about taxing middle class when they get money? They're the ones who spend it at your fucking companies. Now why do I keep saying that? Because this is a huge deal. Read this. Because middle class doesn't have money, rich people they're losing money, and their loans are getting fucked up, and their stock value's getting fucked up, and they can't have that. Store closures hit highest level since pandemic. They're closing at a massive rate, an alarming rate all over again. They're closing like crazy. The government can't have that. That's less taxes that they're collecting. That's less GDP they're making. You got to fix this because, the more middle class, the more corporations out there, the more companies out there, the more that they can pay, the more these American-made products can come pay their workers. Guess what? A better economy, that's more taxes. And that's how you make it all up the lower ones. It's that simple. And then, again, you do shit like this. No tax on tips. Let me ask you something. People that talk shit about servers or something like that. Or a waitress job. Waitresses make like $15 an hour. The crybabies that want to talk shit about my part-time fucking job that I do for my delivery job. I make $15 an hour and I make about $16, $17 an hour in tips. And then they pay me 55 cents an hour for mileage. You're making like $34, $35 an hour up there. Sorry, I want to build my kid a little college fund for 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, twice a week. So these guys fucking are pathetic. But again, those type of jobs, you're making $33, $34, $35 an hour all of a sudden. Other jobs, they might have to start paying you more. Once you start raising other type jobs, you can raise the other ones. That's why people that are always so against, oh my God, the people that want to lower the fucking minimum wage and these fast food workers, I don't give a fuck what job you're doing. I don't give a shit. Those fast food restaurants, guess how much money they make a year? So guess what they should be paying their employees? A decent fucking salary. Because they make, some of these are Fortune 500 companies paying their people fucking bullshit. Because you guys allow them because, hey, they're fast food workers. Who cares? Like I said, you raise minimum wage, you raise the floor, you raise everybody's floor. They got people so brainwashed. Oh, you don't help lazy people. Don't help poor people. If they're making more money, they won't be motivated. Who gives a fuck? If you are in America and you're working 45 hours, 50 hours a week, at any job, you should be able to live. At least live and fucking feed yourself. And these are the things that allow that. Like I said, you cannot kill your middle class. When was America its strongest? When its middle class was its strongest. It's always been that. Look at throughout history. It's not just the presidents. Yeah, the presidents that actually helped middle class was when America thrived. Every fucking time. Every fucking time. That is what matters. Billionaires don't matter. They're already fucking rich. And the way the system's set up is they'll always get richer. But they can't get richer if the people below them can't afford anything. Now what you have is slavery. Like I said, like our forefathers said, your forefathers who gave you your freedom, created this country, said what? There's two ways to conquer and enslave a nation. One is by the sword, and one is by debt. Thank you guys for listening. I have to go. I have to go pick my son up. I am planning, what day is it? I am planning on going, I'm going to stream again on Saturday. No, let's do Sunday. No, Sunday's Super Bowl. Let's do Saturday. I'm going to stream Saturday morning. We're going to go over a lot of other stuff, but I'm also going to do some TA. I'm going to show you guys some TA. We went over indicators the other week. I'm going to show you guys some TA. We're going to go over some more trading. I'll look at some trading strategies as well. Some event type things to look for. So again, I know I haven't been as active, but I want to give you guys, if I'm not in the Discord, I love my Discord. I love the people. I wish it would get bigger. I wish more people would talk. But I mean, like I said, a lot of people have done plays. They called out BBAI, Sam. I mean, there's a lot of people in there that are very smart, that actually know what they're doing, that know what they look for. I mean, whenever you guys ask, and I can, like I said, I'll always show you guys my trading view. I'll show you guys my setup. I mean, I love all that stuff. I mean, all this stuff, dude. I love looking at this shit. But, I can show you guys how to read these things, these indicators. You guys, we can actually look at, so you guys can look at levels, resistance. I'm going to show you how to draw support, resistant levels, channels. I'm going to show you how to draw all this stuff instead of seeing it in front of you. I'm just lazy sometimes. I just like to do it, have it up on TradingView. But, I'm going to show you guys how to read all this too. And then when you go ahead and you add it with that, add it with your indicators, you guys will actually, be able to trade on your own a little bit better and have a roadmap at least. You know what I mean? But weekly Bitcoin, like I said, you could see. I said we'll get in all this stuff, but I got to get going. I do got to go. I got to let my dog up before I go get my boy. So thank you guys for listening. Appreciate it. I will be live on Saturday again. Like I said, we'll go over a lot of stuff, but I'm going to answer more questions on Saturday. I know I didn't have a lot of time to get to questions today, but